Nice to meet you, mate. That's going to go all the way to the top.
Welcome to the channel and welcome back to an absolutely beautiful day. Look at it, it's absolutely glorious. It's 18 degrees today. I can hear people cutting their grass. I can smell the grass in the air. It's lovely and I'm a happy boy today. And it's 12:30, so I've managed to get a bit of time off work. So I'm going to take the bike out on this lovely day and I'm going to take it down to a place called Brighton, which is on the south coast of England. Everybody's heard of Brighton, but not everybody's been there. So I'm going to take you round and show you the sights. And Brighton's a place that's visited from people all over the world. And I know that we've got subscribers from all over the world, Australia, Germany, America. So for anyone that hasn't been to Brighton, I'm going to take you on a little tour and show you all the sights. A couple of bits to do on the bike first, and then we'll hit the road and get down there. Apart from giving the bike a really good clean, you can see here I've still got some of the road salt and dirt on it from last time. Naughty Paul, you shouldn't do that. You should always wash it off because it's quite corrosive. But I have got these mitts on, which I put on in the winter. These things are the Oxford mitts, and they are fantastic. I was the first one to criticise them before I put them on, but they've kept my hands warm all winter. But I am looking forward to getting them off because as good as they were for keeping my hands warm, they are very restrictive and quite annoying to have on the bars. So to have these off now is going to be an absolute godsend. So let's whip them off and then we can get off. Right, before we head off, just because it's sat for a little while, I'm just going to check my tyre pressures using this Ayuchi screen. Great bit of kit. So what we got, 30 on the front, 43 on the back. So I just need to pop into the garage and top those up, so we'll do that on the way down. Handy bit of kit to have this. This is the Ayuchi U6 which I put on in the winter, and it does tell my live tyre pressures, play all my music and do my sat nav, as well as, I mentioned it before, all the recording front and back cameras, so that's really cool. So anything goes wrong, I can prove it. I will put the link in the description for this. You can go over and get yourself a pretty decent discount on one of these. But yeah, the Ayuchi U6 is a great bit of kit and it's staying on all summer and all the way through our touring this year. Even though it's absolutely lovely today and it's 18 degrees, you've got to remember the winter has been awful and the weather since January has just been non-stop raining. So the potholes are still there. I've got to be really mindful where they are because some of them I've just passed coming through there are quite big, and if I hit one it's going to smash a wheel for sure. Right, I'm going to stick the tunes on, bit of Metallica and the Cardo, and cruise down these country lanes, and I'll see you guys in Brighton. Climbing up the mountain here, very steep. But these roads are lovely when it's dry in the summer. Still a bit sketchy in a minute, all the moisture and debris in the middle of the road. I'll take it a bit easy. Wow, the view. See if I can stop somewhere up the top. Must be a viewpoint somewhere because what I can see to the left is absolutely stunning. There you go. Really, really lovely. See Brighton Football Stadium right over there, which is where we're aiming for. We're going to go over the top and drop down into Brighton. Up here is absolutely stunning. Just feels ridiculous driving at 20 miles an hour. That's first gear for me everywhere in Brighton.
Everywhere around here is a 20-mile-an-hour limit, and I can see why they did it, obviously to keep people safe, but it's actually quite hard to ride at 20 miles an hour. So we're just dropping down into Brighton city centre here. This is like the main entrance, the main road through the city centre to the beach. There's a distinct smell of grass down here, if you know the sort of grass I mean, not the grass they're cutting over there. Grass someone's smoking. Keep getting absolute gobfuls of it. Now we're just coming up to the Brighton Pavilion, which is what everyone sort of nicknames, or what we've always nicknamed the Taj Mahal, because it kind of has that look about it. But over there, we'll try and get over there in a minute when we come back out of Brighton, is the Brighton Pavilion, which is a very famous palace built for a king or a prince. We'll go and have a look in a minute and see if we can talk about a bit of its history. Really impressive building. And in front of us there is Brighton Pier, which is the famous second Brighton Pier, which was the second one built. You can actually see the pier on my sat nav there. That looks pretty cool. There it is. That's the famous Brighton Palace Pier, which we'll get a better view of in a minute. I'm not going to get off the bike, so it's not going to be a walking tour. I'm not going to leave the bike anywhere. I'm going to give you a riding tour of Brighton City. This is the hotel here. It burnt to the ground and it all fell into the road, so this road was shut for a time. Yeah, really nasty. Looks like they're trying to rebuild it, I think. Well, there you go, there's Brighton's old West Pier over there, just that metal structure sticking out the sea. Now that was opened in 1866 and was Brighton's pier. It was known as the West Pier, and it was closed in 1975 and really badly damaged by a fire in 2003, and it's just sat like that ever since. It's really sad to see. It's a shame it never got restored. Yeah, that's Brighton's old West Pier. Obviously you've got the new pier over there, which is a fully functioning pier, all open now, all its rides and arcades on the end of it. But yeah, what a contrast. There we go, there's Brighton's I-360. Absolutely ginormous, there's no way I'm going up there. But it's been open since 2016, so people are enjoying it. And if you look through the glass there, you can see that's the glass top of the I-360 itself, and up she goes, and we'll watch it go up. Not too many people in there. That's going to go all the way to the top. Wow, very impressive. You can get tickets for that for about 15 quid, I think, but if you're scared of heights, I probably wouldn't recommend it. So there's the famous Grand Hotel, and it's really well known for being attacked in the 1980s. I think it was 1984 when they were hosting the Conservative Party conference, and Maggie Thatcher, the Prime Minister at the time, was targeted in a bombing. Now they didn't get her in there, but they did bomb this hotel when they thought she was in, and it destroyed part of the front of the hotel there, killed 5 people and injured about 31. And yeah, really horrible history there. It was completely destroyed in the middle. So that's what that hotel's really famous for. But it's also famous for, if you've watched Only Fools and Horses, the grand sign in the middle. I'll put the picture up on the screen here. You can see David Jason over there with his glass of champagne, and that's the episode where they made the dodgy spring wall of Peckham Spring and they come into all the money, and there's a very famous picture of him standing over that. So that's pretty cool. Now we'll travel back east up the seafront here, back towards the main pier. I've got to get through all these traffic lights, there's quite a lot on the seafront here. And we're going to have a look at Madeira Drive, which is the strip that runs east of the pier and is really famous for holding all the London to Brighton marathons, the London to Brighton classic car show, the vintage car show, the mini show. There's been so many events down there, and there still is. And it's the place where in the 1960s the mods and the rockers would meet up and have a good old scrap punch up. And Brighton is synonymous for the mods and rockers and all the Vespers you see with all the mirrors and stuff. We may see a couple up there. Every time I come to Brighton, you'll always see at least one Vespa parked down on Madeira Drive. There you go, what did I say? There's always a mod up here, right there. Every time I've been to Brighton, there's been a couple of Vespas.
Can't come all the way to Brighton without having some chips.
But that was great, sitting there having some chips and a cup of tea. Bumped into another biker, There he is on a cheers pal, an old 2008 Hornet, which is one of my first big bikes, so we're having a good chat about that, and he loves that as much as I loved mine. So yeah, gonna get off before the sun goes down. It's the problem when you meet other bikers, when you're out you just sit there chatting and all of a sudden an hour's gone by. Really nice chap. There he goes on his Hornet. That's a lovely machine. Sounds great too. They sound great, doesn't it? It's so clean as well.
What, 28 years old?
28 years old.
Yeah.
Nearly as old as me. I like the rims as well, all polished up. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah, nice to meet you, mate. See you soon. Oh, now doesn't that sound nice? It sounds beautiful. Lovely. What a machine. 1960? Wow. It sounds incredible. That would have been down here in the old Mods and Rockers days then, huh? Fantastic. That's the contrast to the Vespers that we saw earlier. They would have been all along here, having their tussle up.
This is the Royal Pavilion, Brighton, and despite its appearance, it's not an Indian temple. It was built for King George IV between 1787 and 1823. Between 1815 and 1823, it was transformed into what it looks like today, with its exotic onion dome shape appearance. In the 1840s, Queen Victoria disliked the pavilion for its lack of privacy and sold it to the town of Brighton in 1850 for the sum of £53,000. In the 1860s, the building was fully restored and open to the public. It was in a museum and open for events. However, in 1975, it underwent an arson attack and sustained serious damage in the 1987 hurricane. And during World War I, the pavilion was used as a military hospital for Indian soldiers to recover. It remains a major tourist attraction, featuring lavishly decorated rooms like the banqueting room and the music room, and remains one of the most beautiful buildings in the UK today.
So this is at the back end of Brighton city centre, and it's what's called the lanes. You can do all your shopping down here. We've been down here before and we've had dinner and stuff. It's a really cool place to come, and in the evening time when it's all lit up, pretty amazing. See if we can get up a few of these lanes to have a look. More residential they are. So the main shopping lanes themselves, they're very pedestrianised, so I'm not going to be able to get up and down. But you get the idea. You can come here and go up and down, and visit all the really cool shops, tattoo shops, food, whatever you want really, it's here. Well, that's me done in Brighton City for today. Hope you've enjoyed that little tour around Brighton and some of the dud information that I've probably given you. But it's really nice to get out, blow the cobwebs out of the pipes today, get the bike on the road. So I'm going to head back now, going to hit the A23. Hope you've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed being out. I'm going to head home and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. There it is again, that smell of puff.